This is the Getting Into Alignment podcast. Here we play in the quantum world of possibilities. If you desire it, you get to have it. My name is Alexa Ray Smith. I'm a business coach and spiritual teacher for women in business. I'm here to help you unlock your personal power and tap into your magnetism so that you can manifest the most incredible life for yourself and build the business of your dreams. These episodes will help you plug into the energy of infinite potentiality and teach you the tools you need to play in this world where limitations don't exist. On this podcast, I'll be talking to you about energetics, mindset, embodiment, spirituality, money, and business. Everything that you want is on the other side of you getting into alignment. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Getting Into Alignment podcast. I'm your host, Alexa Ray Smith, and I am so excited that you are here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to just remind you that today is the last day to take advantage of my Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. And not only is this the last day to take advantage of the sales, it is the last day to get in any of the things for the price. All of my pricing is going back up. If you've been here for a while, I discounted a lot of my programs, memberships, I discounted everything because I wanted to be able to help more people in 2023 manifest their dream lives and build their dream businesses. At that time, I was walking away from the business coaching world. If you've been here, you know, I deleted my Instagram. I unfollowed all of the business coaches before that. I stopped working with my mentor. I literally said goodbye to a lot of people that I had followed or consumed their content or was really enmeshed in how they did business. And it felt really good at the time to be able to lower my prices and let more people in and to really focus on creating a lot of free content. As you guys know, I create videos every single day on TikTok. I had been shadow banned for a while for speaking up over Palestine, so I'm posting less videos because the algorithm doesn't like me again yet, but that's totally fine. I would rather put my money where my morals are, and I would rather always teach you how to be ethical because this new generation that we are in is going to be an ethical generation. This new generation of business owners is going to be an ethical business ownership. It's not going to be the traditional capitalistic, let's put money over people and profits over everything. We're done with that. But as we are dwindling down in 2023, and I was reevaluating my business because I really like to do this a decent amount of times, but at least once a quarter, just to really reflect on where I'm at, what feels good going forward. As you guys know, I run a very intuitive-led business. So when something doesn't feel good to me anymore, as a manifesting generator, I couldn't even pretend to hide it. I need to make sure that my business is in alignment with where I'm going rather than where I've been. So I do like to change things. I do like to liven things up. So there's going to be a few changes coming into 2024. One, you will no longer be able to buy any of my programs as a single program. The options are you can join Synergy, my monthly membership, and you'll get access to the programs while you are paying. You cannot download any of the materials. You can't save any of the materials. You only have access to the content and the materials while you're in it, but there's no monthly commitment. Then there's also my Manifestation Academy, AOMU, which previously was just a Manifestation Academy, and then I had Conscious CEO as my business academy, but I've decided going forward, they're going to be in one place. Because for me, one thing that I really struggled with when I was getting into the manifestation world and I was doing the money programs, there was a disconnect of how do I also build my business at the same time? I wanted to be working on mindset. I wanted to be working on energetics, but I also wanted to be building the business as well. So now all of my business programs are in my academy. So it's now a manifestation and business academy. And you're going to get access to all of the things. You get lifetime access in here. And it's literally so incredible. There's over 100 hours of content. You can pop in and out of the programs as you see fit. There's everything from business, human design, mindset, energetics, universal laws, manifestation. I always forget some of the things because there's so many things. Love, money, all of the things, personal development, like everything that you need to transform your entire life and build your business is within this program. And if you join today with either getting into the membership, getting into the academy, or if you want to get in mentorship with me, all of these are at a discounted rate and that ends today. If you are on my email list, I just emailed you a breakdown of exactly what the prices were and what they're going to be. And you honestly will be shocked at the difference in price because it is insane the amount that some of these things are going back up to, because that's how much of a discount I had offered at this year. But going forward, we are not going to be working off of the discounted rates anymore. So this is your final call. Final call. If you want to get into my world in any facet, then you can join these things. And if you join mentorship with me, you get access to all of my programs while you're in mentorship with me, and you get a weekly call. Plus, you have voice and text access to me 5 days a week. So I'm literally in your pocket there, mentoring you on the go when you need. The link is in the bio if you want to get into any of these things. If you have a question, you can always shoot me a DM on TikTok at Alexa Ray Smith or on Instagram at Smith Alexa Ray, because yes, your girl does have a new Instagram. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast yet, but there's just a reminder. All of the links will be in the description as well if you want to just go there for ease of access. So today, what I want to talk to you about is manifesting a successful business. Now, the thing is I really, quite honestly, because I took a break from the business coaching space, that doesn't mean I was not coaching clients on manifesting a business or still working on my business. But I took a break from releasing any business programs. I took a break from launching any business programs. And in my content, I really wasn't talking about business. I might have still talked about money, but I didn't really talk about business a lot. And there's been a shift this past month. I've actually been helping a lot of clients manifest businesses and start their businesses and grow their businesses. And it just like reignited this spark inside of me that truly loves business. And yes, I know I'm one of the only business coaches that actually went to business school. I didn't just like learn business from some girl online talking about business. And I've also taken a bunch of programs from girls online just talking about business. So I have a really, really big depth of understanding in this area, because if you know my history, you know I worked as a business subject matter expert for the New York State government for 8 years before starting my business. And then after being in the business coaching space for 3 years and seeing how disingenuous the space had really gotten, I really wanted to go back to my roots, and that was mindset and manifestation. So if you've been following me on TikTok and you've been wondering why I haven't been talking about business, or if you didn't know that I did do business as well, and you're going to start seeing an influx of business materials, this is where it's at. I like to just be fully transparent with you guys, because I find that it's so easy to get caught up in the highlight reels. And sometimes with social media, with people sharing, we think we like know where they're at. But a lot of times we lose the human behind the business and we're not understanding the full scope of it. And so I like to keep it really honest with you, because being an entrepreneur isn't easy. Like, quite honestly, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? And there's also a way to set your business up for ease instead of for struggle. And one thing that really called for me to talk about today was about manifesting a successful business. Now, if you've heard me say before, you don't manifest a business, you build a business, I still stand by that. you still need to build the business. And where the conversation, I find like the ball gets dropped in either the manifestation space or the business space, is the business space either comes from it super practical or they go so energetic. So practical being the masculine, energetic being the feminine, and there's not a lot of gray area. Like there's no one really helping you to merge that. And I think that I know that both are 100% needed. And then the other thing that I find is that people will tell you that you can just manifest it if we're talking from the manifestation lens. And it's like you can just manifest the business. But what ends up happening there is when people tell you you can just manifest a business, people don't take their business seriously. They don't think that they need to establish an entity, which means if you don't have an entity, you can't legally be doing business, right? So even if you just have a DBA, you can do business and you're protected. But if you don't have a DBA, if you don't have an LLC, if you don't have a corporation, which I would argue I wouldn't probably start a corporation at the beginning, but we're not getting into business entity structures today. But what I need you to understand is, yes, you can manifest results from your business. You can manifest anything, right? But you also need to build the business. You also need to set up your entity. You also need to create a product or create a service for sale. You need to have a way for people to pay you. You need to have a way that you are getting leads or getting sales. You need to have ways that you are marketing yourself. Like, yes, you can manifest the results, and your success has a lot to do with your mindset. But at the same time, we cannot have this conversation from one of two lenses. That's where I find like we're still getting very boxed in our teachings. And I used to always say I wanted to break down the science from the spirituality. Like I wanted to open that up, but I feel like through quantum physics and really gaining popularity over these past few years, like that conversation, it's already happened. We've already met each other there. So now I'm feeling really passionate and like my Manifestation Academy already goes over all of that. We go from really woo to really scientific, like, and everywhere in between. But as far as business though, I still find, and granted, I really am not following any of the business coaches anymore, but I still find that this conversation in its depth isn't there because people are picking one camp or the other. Super practical. These are the things that you have to do. Da 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 da. Super spiritual. Just focus on it, visualize it, have a good mindset, and the money and the clients and the success will manifest. And it's like, if you've been one of either two camps, I know that you know that that didn't work. Because if you tried to do the business building by all of the practical and strategic without doing the money work, without changing your mindset, without embodying your most successful CEO self, then you probably did all of the things till you were blue in the face, working 18 hours a day, struggling, hustling with little to show for it. And what we have to understand is we are still in the beginning of this era where we're birthing online businesses. So you have to understand that baby boomers and older generations, they still are skeptical of the internet. They still don't believe in small businesses. They still think that the safest thing to do is to work for somebody. Like, you have to understand that the schooling system is a factory schooling system. They teach you to be an obedient employee. This is not my interpretation. Look up what factory schooling systems are. They were created during the Industrial Revolution. You will see that this is exactly what we still have in 2023. It's absolutely insane. And this is why I argue that education as we know it will be broken down over this next decade. We will not have public schooling the way that we do in 10 years because it's not teaching people relevant skills. It's not teaching them how to be happy. It's not teaching them how to manage their money. It's not teaching them how to think for themselves. It's not teaching them how to have emotional intelligence. It's not teaching them anything other than that you can pass or fail, and that if you memorize this and you do really well on a test, you're good. But that's not actually how the real world works. And a perfect example of that is that's how the testing structure to get promoted at the New York State government still is. And you classically see people that are really great at memorizing end up becoming managers because they did really well at tests, but those people don't know how to fucking manage, and they have absolutely no idea how anything is run. They don't know how their people are doing their jobs. They don't know the context. They don't know the laws. They don't bother to learn because they know they can just take another test and get promoted. And so that's why like the New York State government is such a disaster. And I would argue that's why the government everywhere is such a disaster, because if I worked for New York State and it was that bad, like I could have an entire book about this. But I'm just telling you, we are one of the states that other countries look to, and we're a hot mess. And it's because of the system. And we already know that all of the systems that we've had in place are systemically corrupt. But I just want you to understand how deep this employee mindset goes. And what you have to understand is when you are building a business, and it doesn't matter what age you're at, right? But you're going to have family members and friends, especially depending on the age that you're at, that are going to have a lot of doubts, and they're going to have a lot of opinions, and they're going to be really negative because they're people that are living in the matrix, and they need to see that it's working. They need to be able to see evidence that it's working. And you have to understand that when you start playing in this realm of online business, you're also going to be navigating not only your own mindset, your lack mindset, your employee mindset, the matrix, everything that you've been societally programmed into, and you're also dealing with a bunch of people that are still 100% in the matrix that are going to be projecting their limitations onto you. So there's a lot of navigating that needs to happen when you are building a business. And I do not think that we're doing anyone justice by just saying, just wake up every day and visualize yourself as somebody who makes $1 million a year, or, say these wealth affirmations and see your account go to millions overnight. Like, yes, you can manifest. Yes, you can visualize, but we aren't doing anyone any service by setting them up for failure, by saying that all you have to do is this and that will lead to your success. Because then we have a lot of people who feel so jaded and then end up quitting their entrepreneurial journey because it isn't easy. And it isn't easy. But here's the thing, neither is learning how to manifest. It isn't easy. Both of these roads require you to go down a path that's less traveled. That means less people will understand you. More people will have opinions. There's this quote that I've been seeing going around a lot lately, and it says, the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats. And I want you to understand that the people that are talking down to you about your business, the people that aren't taking you or your business seriously, these are people that I can almost guarantee you have never started a business, because people that are doing what you're doing or at a higher level than what you're doing would never talk down to you. They would always inspire you, and they would always encourage you for the fact that you started. So there's a lot of nuance that goes into manifesting success and creating a business, especially a digital business, which, like, if you're not creating a digital business right now, I just don't even understand what you're doing. Because yes, you could eventually get into a brick and mortar location, a physical location, but it doesn't make sense for you to have to pay all of those costs when you could cut down your costs to little to nothing comparatively by just creating an online storefront. Whether you're selling products, whether you are selling services, either way, social media is free. If you're not taking advantage of social media to run your business, then you are leaving money on the table. So then there's the other conversation of, in order for you to have a wildly successful business, you've got to be online. You just have to be. Because if you're not, you are limited to the people in that location. And again, you're paying so much money. And a lot of the times what I found is the people that have brick and mortar locations really struggle with creating a presence and creating a brand online. And that is required. And the thing is, once you have a brand, once you have a presence, once you have a place that people can plug into your energy, to your products, to your services, they know where to go and they'll keep coming back. And it's so easy for them to share your posts, to share your account, to comment so then more people come and interact. Like, there's so many ways to grow on social media. And we're not going to go in depth on that because that would be an entire class in and of itself. But what I need you to know is it's not only the mindset. It's not only the energetics. It's also navigating the digital world, learning to create your own content, learning to market yourself, learning to build a brand. And then while you are creating your product and creating your services, the energy that you're in and the mindset that you're in while you're creating it is going to actually create a self-fulfilling prophecy of whether people buy or whether they don't. And a lot of the times, the people that do extremely well in business very quickly are the ones that are not available for it not working. If you knew that what you were selling, what you were creating was going to be successful no matter what, it was going to work out, how differently would you show up rather than sitting there thinking about what if nobody buys? What if I go bankrupt? What if I have to go back to my 9 to 5? If you could master your mindset before, while, and during creating the product or the service, you would be light years ahead of the other people, because instead of preparing for what if it doesn't work, you're always getting excited and celebrating the fact that you know it is going to work. And that allows you to really have the stamina and the energy to create a business that is going to be successful, because that's all you're available for. And so, yes, the mindset is extremely important. I would argue that mindset is probably at least 80% of everything. Your mindset will completely determine the results, always. But you need to also be building the business. You need to also be creating your brand and marketing yourself and creating a product and creating a service. And it depends, like if you're going to create a product, you probably need to find manufacturers. You need to handle shipping. There's a lot of logistics at play there. So we cannot pretend that you can just create a Shopify store and then make $100,000 your first month in business if you haven't been doing any work on your mindset. And this is why I find that when people get really deep into the manifestation world, they no longer want to work for anyone else, because you know too much. You know too much to ever go back to working in a shitty cubicle. You know too much to ever want to trade your time for money. You know too much to ever want to work for a micromanaging boss. You just know too much. You understand, whether you fully been able to embody it or not, you understand how the energy of money works. You understand how financial freedom is so much more possible than anyone has ever allowed you to believe. Like right now is the best time for you to ever start a business and become financially free, because more people are becoming millionaires day by day. But if you're still watching the news, what are they telling you? They're selling you the fear of another inflation, right? So it's like the people that are watching the news still and they're living in the matrix, they believe this inflation. So they're like, well, I can't leave my job because I need to have a steady paycheck. And that's the least reliable way. And that will be a 100% sure way to never be financially free, because you'll forever be trading your time for money, and you'll always be allowing your job to dictate how you get to live your lifestyle and how much time you have to live your lifestyle. So there's a lot that goes in play here. It's not just one thing. And that's why I'm talking about these things intermingled. One, because I literally just channel what I'm going to talk about, and then I start talking, I hit record, and we just go. Like, this is how I do my programs. With my programs, I normally map it out so I have an idea of what I'm going to say and the things I'm going to talk about, so I know what practices to add with it. I know the homework. I know the bonuses I'm going to add, like the visualizations, the meditations, the hypnosis, and all these things. But here it's just like press play and go. And so it might feel like I'm going all over the place, but that's exactly what it's going to feel like when you are creating a business. And what I need you to know is it's not about trying the drop shipping and then trying the affiliate marketing and trying to become a part of a multi-level marketing stream and then trying this new wave of business and this one. You have to actually have your heart in it. Like, if you could do anything at all, what would you do? I asked that question to one of my clients the other day, because this is something that she has been continuously avoiding, kind of. Like, instead of really tuning into what she wants to do, it's more of like, looking at the options and the circumstances, and it was like that's what's keeping you like feeling like you're stuck, because you're only allowing yourself to choose what you think is available to you. But what if we forgot all of that, and what if we just looked at it like anything is available for you and you get to do anything that you want to do, but you've got to get clear on what that is first. And when you don't think about it from a logical lens, you do know what you want to do. You have something that is calling on your heart and on your soul to do, but then you have programming and limiting beliefs that come up that tell you why you can't do that. Bull fucking shit. There are literally people that have platforms where all they do is clean, and they are making insane amounts of money every single month just cleaning their home. There are people that are cooking recipes from their home that are making an insane amount of money. There are people that are creating physical training programs from their home and making an insane amount of money. There are people who are content creators that are making an insane amount of money. There are people that are authors that are self-publishing that are making an insane amount of money. There are people that are building clothing brands and making an insane amount of money. I'm just giving you a bunch of examples because our mind likes to be so limited, but there's literally somebody out there who's already doing something similar to what you're doing, and they're making a shitload of money doing it, and they aren't any smarter than you, and they probably aren't any better than you. The only difference is they believed in themselves enough to do it. And then they continued to show up. They continued to learn and get good. You have to realize that running a business is a lot like riding a bicycle, just like manifestation. It's something that you've got to try and take evaluation in intervals, but you can't keep completely starting and then throwing out and starting and throwing out. You've got to refine and pivot. You've got to refine and pivot. So it's not about jumping on the latest business trend, jumping on the latest side hustle trend. It's about really tuning in with your intuition, with your soul, with your purpose, and really embodying that energy that you know that you were born for this, and allowing the universe to help you do the heavy lifting. But you have to actually file for the LLC. You actually have to build the website. You actually have to create the content. You actually have to put your face on camera. Like whatever it is, you actually have to do the things. That's the whole action part in manifestation that no one wants to talk about. It's either just all being and mindset, but like no action. And it's like, you've got to take action. If you don't do anything ever, that's not getting you any closer to the results. And I would argue that the people that become financially free at younger ages were the ones that were able to fail more times, fail faster, get up, learn, and keep going. It's about taking inventory of what's working and then shifting the areas that aren't working, focusing more on the areas that are working. It's like understanding that it's not going to look the same for everyone. But if you are able to balance making your business a priority and making yourself a priority, which means that you can't be going out and doing the same things over and over again. If you start a business, you've got to be really dedicated to the business. You've got to have really strong boundaries. You've got to be able to communicate with your family and friends who are going to ask you to go do something in the middle of the day because it's their day off and they don't take your business seriously because you're a business owner. You still have things that you have to get done. You still have to take care of yourself. You still need to make sure you're not going out and partying every night. You need to make sure that you're expanding your mind. Like, you are your biggest return on investment. So that means hiring mentors, getting into programs, getting into communities, getting into spaces where you get to connect with like-minded people who have similar goals. Because if you're hanging around with a bunch of people that don't have businesses and have an employee mindset and are employees, they are going to be the ones that not only reflect your fear, but they're going to keep you sucked down. There's a study that says when you are working next to someone that is really great, I want to say it's 20%, your ability to do the work goes up by 20%. But it's actually worse if you're around people that aren't good at doing the work. And I would argue that's the same for personal development work, and that's the same for your life. There's a reason why they say the 5 people you hang around with set the average of what's available for you. So you really do need to change your habits. You need to change your surroundings. You need to change your mindset. You need to change what you see as possible for yourself. You need to change a lot of things, to be fully honest. You don't have to fully change. Like, you still get to be you, but you need to be a more consistent, a more reliable, a more refined, a more ambitious, a more disciplined version of yourself. The version of you that can say, no, I'm actually not going to go out tonight because I'm going to read this book, or I'm going to create this online program, or I'm going to start writing my book, or I've got content to record, or whatever it is. And then there's also the balance of still living your life too. But it's like a lot of people just want business to be so easy that they just use it as an excuse to live their best life without actually building the business. And so these are all of the nuances, right? Like, it's about being able to have better time management, but not always working on your business, allowing yourself to meditate, allowing yourself to take care of your physical health, allowing yourself to eat really nutrition dense food. You've got to be able to get outside. Like, there's so many levels to you being a healthy entrepreneur and you building a successful business. And then there's also the conversation of having a successful mindset, that mindset that says, I know this is going to be successful, so that's all I'm available for. I'm willing to learn the lessons. I'm willing to notice what's not working. And I'm not going to keep throwing out things from scratch and spending all day long comparing myself to other people, wondering what their secret is, trying to copy their program, copy their brand, copy what they're saying, copy whatever. It's like, yes, you can be informed and you can learn what other people in your industry are doing, so you learn what your competitive advantage is. But if you spent more time focusing on you and what your intuition is telling you to do and what your skills you feel are naturally good at, and then taking the time to expand on them, taking the time to grow on them, taking the time to really show up even when you might not be as articulate or as graceful or as good at the editing or the speaking or whatever it is, if you could just start knowing that one step is where most people will never actually break free. They won't actually start because they'll listen to all their limiting beliefs. They'll listen to their friends and family. They'll listen to society where everyone tells them that businesses fail. In every area, there's always somebody who can challenge that. Like, if you look at them, you could see that their life challenges that thought. And I want you to say, if that person is living a life differently to me, did they believe that? Did they listen to these people? Did they allow that to stop them? Because they didn't. They didn't. If anything, they didn't answer those calls. They spent less time talking to those people. They spent more time being around people that could understand what they were doing and help them building. When we talk about business building, it's not as archaic as the old, like, bro masculine of DM this many people a day and make sure you're doing this for this many hours a day, make sure your morning routine looks like this. Da, da, da. It doesn't have to be so rigid. It gets to be more fluid, but there are necessities, right? There are things that are non-negotiables. You need to be actually doing things to help move your business forward. And that means from a practical lens and from an energetic and a mindset lens. And from a health lens, right? Like, we need to be taking care of ourselves first and foremost, getting our energy right, getting our mindset right, getting our health right, and then allowing ourselves to really take our energy that we've created and cultivated and put it into our passion, so that way we can build a financial freedom empire. And maybe you're like me and you're multi-passionate, but you don't have to try and build all of the things at once. Start with one brand, start with one business, get good. And then when you build a platform and you build a brand and you've got a community, then you can share the other business ventures. But it's like, there's so many things that go into building a business. And I want you to understand by listening to this episode that you're not going to learn how to build a successful business necessarily from one TikTok. You're not going to learn how to build a business necessarily even from one program. And that's where a lot of people get burnt out in the business coaching world, because it's like you got to take one program to learn branding, you got to take one program to learn how to do content, you got to take one program to learn your mindset, you've got to take another program to learn how to build an audience, you've got to take another program to learn how to manage the money and have a money mindset, and it just gets exhausting. And then you get into so much debt because you're just taking program after program after program. It's one thing to be educating yourself, but it's another thing to get stuck in the student mindset while you're building a business, because the student means that they need to have everything perfect. And quite honestly, the first time you launch something, it could actually flop. So if you spent all of this time making it perfect and then it doesn't do well, you would be so disappointed. Whereas if you just launched the thing before you were ready, trusting in yourself that it is going to be good, trusting in yourself that the people are going to come, then you get to maneuver as you go. You get to see what's really helping people. You get to see the areas that people aren't really interested in. Like, I would much rather you take a leap of faith on yourself and on your dreams while working on yourself and building the business and getting more programs or more products out there, because you're actually going to learn so much more in business from the experience, from launching, from selling, from marketing, from creating content. And you will see in a year, just even 1 year, how drastically different you will improve. You won't even recognize yourself when you see yourself. On TikTok, they now have On This Day, and they've been showing me videos of like from 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, who was this girl? The girl that was just getting used to creating short form content because no business mentors were doing that. No business mentors were on TikTok. No one was taking it seriously. No one was learning how to create short form content. And I would argue they still don't. That's why you don't see people talking face to face on camera screen when they're a traditional business coach. They're the ones that are creating B-roll images where it's like they're showing you things that they're doing in their life and they're just putting text over screen and it's like a 15-second clip. It's because these people never got comfortable with speaking face to face on their camera, and they really didn't take TikTok seriously, and now they're continuing not to because they don't want to charter those waters. But it's like, I did that, and now I'm literally so fucking good at creating short form content that I don't even have to practice it. Just like I do with these podcasts, I just get on and say what I feel like the collective needs to hear. Of course, these are longer form, but you get what I'm saying, right? Because I actually took the effort to create content and get uncomfortable, I was able to create short form content that is so good that I now publish it on my YouTube channel, and people really, really value the fact that they've got these videos that are like 8 minutes and under, and it's just giving them a lot of potent information without the fucking fluff. Like, I know that it gets to the point when you're building your business or manifesting your dream life where you just get exhausted from hearing the same things over and over again from different people, but none of it seems to be working for you. And I know from my own experience, it was because of the gap, the masculine or the feminine, and there was no feminine with the masculine or masculine with the feminine. And I really want to help you to break free and to create a successful business. And I want you to know that that requires you really focusing on you, and the rest is going to manifest. If you can speak to yourself all day long and see yourself all day long like you already are that successful CEO, if you can adopt the mentality that everything that you do works because you're either getting the money, getting the clients, getting the sales, or you're learning the lessons that you need to create a product, a brand, a service that is going to completely change your life. Like, you're always winning. And when you can see yourself like this, and when you can tune into your intuition and connect with your heart and do what you really want to do, so that way you have the love to pour into your business, and you're not doing it to you're not doing it to get sales, you're not doing it to make money, you're not doing it to build your following. All of those get to be bonuses, but you're doing it because you desire to have financial freedom while giving back to society, and you understand that this is the new wave of business ownership, that we're doing the work on us and we are creating businesses for us, but for the collective. Like, yes, it's so that we can bring our dreams to life. Yes, it's because we desire to have freedom, of time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. And we're also doing it because we know that we were given this purpose to help and to serve the collective. And we really are coming into a new wave, into a new era, into a new frequency of humanity, where the businesses that are going to be the most successful and the people that are going to be the most successful are the ones that do this, that focus on heart leadership, that focus on intuitive downloads, that focus on doing the things that are actually going to build the business, that dedicate their time and energy to themselves, to their craft, and to always being better, and to stop competing with everyone else, but to just find where they are uniquely skilled and being able to really sell themselves to other people because of that. Not in a sleazy sales way, but because selling is of service. And when you sell your services, you know that you're helping people in whatever way it is. Of course, that will vary based on what you do. But I want you to know that success is so much closer to you than you've given yourself credit for. And I don't care if you have been in business for 5 years and it feels like you haven't been able to break through to the 10K month, or whether you just started a business and your social media isn't gaining any traction, or whether you've had a dream of a business for 10 years now and you haven't taken any action. Literally, it's so much closer to you than you can possibly imagine. And I promise you that there's just some small tweaks that you need to make so that way your mindset, your energy, and your work ethic is in the right alignment, so that way your people find you. Because the truth is, you are your niche, you are the magnetism, you are the brand. And when you hyper focus on you and who you are and how you show up and your energy and your mindset, and you bring that into your business with that much passion, with that much energy, with that much excitement, when you start celebrating your wins before the wins even come in, when you know that this product is going to change your life, when you know that this service is going to create financial freedom for you, when you know that it is always working, so you're showing up and you are creating in the energy of it's always working, it's always working, it's always going to work. So this is probably not what you expected this conversation to be, because there wasn't fluff here. There was a lot of, this is what we have to talk about, and this is what you have to think about, and this is what you've got to start doing differently, and da 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 da. Because I want you to really have an honest conversation. And I know I did create a podcast episode a few months back. I don't know when, because y'all know that I started uploading to Spotify, but that was maybe like 6 months ago now. What is time? That I recorded an episode called The Raw Truth About Entrepreneurship. And I go really in depth in that one and have a really authentic conversation with you. But I wanted to talk about all of the things that you really need to navigate, because it sounds like a lot, but when you are actually just doing these things instead of like planning out your business, when you just start getting into action. I literally helped a woman who wasn't even sure that she wanted to talk about building her business in 1 hour session. We had built her business model. We had designed her logo. We had come up with the name of her business. We had come up with a blueprint for how she was going to create the business, what she was going to start doing. And she's literally already started. That was a 1 hour session, and it was less than 2 weeks ago. And she's already created a business that she's thought about for years, but didn't take action on. I'm telling you that when you start moving, you will get so much closer to the success that you desire, but you've got to start moving. And if you want help with this, then get into mentorship with me, because this is the work that I really love doing with my clients, helping them to launch their dreams, helping them to monetize their passions, helping them to grow a business that really changes their world and changes their lives. And I feel as though a lot of it does start with the mindset and with the manifestation, because you start learning how much potential you really have in this world. But I want to carry you through, and I want to help you, give you the tangible, the practical of how to actually do it as well. So that way you have this beautiful marriage between the masculine and the feminine. So I'm going to leave this episode here because it was a longer episode than I had intended to record, but Everything came out perfectly. It's literally 111 right now as I'm ending this, so it's perfectly divine. If you're loving this podcast, please make sure to drop a comment below and share it with your friends and family so that way we can get this message out to more people. And until the next episode, I'll talk with you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're ready to go deeper and to get into my world, you can go to my website, alexaraysmith.com. You'll find all of my current programs on there. If you're desiring to get mentored by me, then the best thing to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can talk about mentorship options and which one's the best fit for you. If you're absolutely loving this podcast, please go rate it 5 stars and let me know why you're loving it. This will help me share the podcast with more people. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And until the next episode, keep manifesting the most incredible life.